So hi, welcome to Rise Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
And we're here with
Kat and Nick from Holy Wars.
All right, some questions to say about the upcoming EP, Cult Classics. Congrats on that. By the way, how do you feel about the response, the announcement so far?
It's been really great, actually. I can't believe it's this week. But yeah, I've been, we've dropped 2 singles from it so far, and it's been a really great response. So I'm really excited for them to hear the rest of it. So I'm anxious in a good way.
The EP fucking rips.
Dude, this EP makes me feel like a bad bitch. It's fucking crazy. I love it.
Thank you so much. I did like an interview where I had to type it out, and they're like, what do you want people to feel? And I shit you not, one of the things was, I just want you to feel like a fucking badass. Like I want you to feel alive,
Yeah.
And maybe think about the lyrics in a way, maybe just go a little deeper with the lyric, but overall just feel like a badass, be empowered,
Absolutely. Hell yeah. So is there any meaning behind the EP title or cover art?
Yes. Well, we love when Nick is here too, you'll see we do love horror. So, but I really wanted to kind of lyrically capture that feeling of what if the monster existed inside of us. So the like, if you notice the Deus Ex Machina single cover, there is like this mechanical, God from the machine, this brain, like it's exploding out of the brain, but it's coming from within. And then Body Temple, very much inspired by House of Wax, but the fire is melting you from the inside out. So I really wanted that, like the covers and the overall message to feel like, it is within us, the horror.
Yeah.
Hi, Nick.
How you doing?
Can you see it?
Keep going.
But then also Cult Classic is the only track where it kind of tells you like why this exists, and it is from the influence of society. So, and then Tension Release also covers grief and what it feels like to live through loss, and how you go through this tension and release of yourself. And so that's pretty much. And then Venom is just like that outward projection, of that internal turmoil. So
Gotcha. All right. So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for the EP?
We don't really have one clear way that we do it. Sometimes you'll start with sometimes even a riff, or like I want to say Venom was started with that plucking.
Right? Yeah, it's never the same way. I know now I try and have a process for at least how the music is done. But usually it's helpful that we have a concept for the song, like Cult Classic. That one had like a tiny little riff that is kind of the main riff in the song. And then we were just talking about different ideas about what the song might be. And then Cult Classic kind of came up, and then there's a lot to play with that. And then that ended up being the whole song. But it's always helpful when we come up with the concept, and then we can kind of focus in on that. So that's the case with Cult Classic, or like Deus Ex Machina. That one's pretty different. That one was just more a feeling of we just wanted something really fast and out of control feeling.
Actually, that one too, I don't know, I didn't make it, but it started with you tapping on a 1/4-inch cable. So the cable to plug into the guitar, and it was live, so it was like feedback and buzzy, and he just started that drum beat from his guitar cable, and then that is kind of what started the tempo and the feeling of Deus Ex Machina.
That's
which not that
awesome.
many
Yeah.
And he was like, I really want it to be fast. And then and after we started writing it, you wanted to shift tempos, which we've never done until then, to like slow down the track, coming with this like hip hop type beat and then speed back up. And then lyrically too, I think Cult Classic, once we decided we wanted it to be Cult Classic, then it kind of shapes the rest of the songs that would follow. And then the message of what we wanted to say lyrically. We wanted to bring back those big choruses too, with Body Temple and Tension and Release. Sometimes most of it, I feel like it started with the music idea, but I don't remember if anything started with the vocal idea on this one. Sometimes I'll have a lyric and I'll be like, I want the whole song to be centered around this one lyric. But yeah, that's pretty much how it all came about.
Gotcha.
Hell yeah. Awesome. So what song off this EP took longest to write, and which one is your personal favorite?
Oh, the longest to write. I
Mhm.
don't remember. Would you say Cult Classic?
Mm, uh,
They all kind of went through a few different changes, I feel like.
yeah, none of them took that long. And I say that because in the past, some songs I would spend weeks working on, like some of our material that we released before, I would obsess over for weeks. And I definitely obsessed over this, like I always do, but nothing went into like crazy extremes like it always does. But that's on purpose because I sometimes just work on it way too much, and then you can't even tell if you're making it better or worse
It could
anymore.
spiral every now and then.
Yeah, so luckily I don't think anything took that long, not one more than the other. Actually, Deus probably took a good amount of time because that one has like a lot of interesting stuff uh in it that happened in the production. So yeah, maybe Deus, but
Yeah.
not by much.
What's your favorite?
Um, I don't know. I guess Deus. Yeah.
Deus?
All right.
I don't know what my favorite is. Right. Currently it's Cult Classic, because we just shot the video and the video's pretty fucking sick. I think it's fun. So I love that one. But for me, I think also Tension Release. There's just something about that one. It kind of gives me some like Tool vibes in a way. I don't know if you guys feel that way, which we weren't going for that. But when hearing it, I'm like, wow, it gives me this feeling. And yeah, so I think Tension Release, it hits me in the feels sometimes. So
Gotcha. And what about this EP like made it a little bit easier and not something that you felt like you had to obsess over for weeks on end? Was it like an intentional thing, or was there something about the EP that made you feel a little bit more at ease while writing it?
yeah, I mean, it came together over time because we were touring a lot. So I felt like we had that kind of gave it the ease because we weren't hyper focused on just we're going to sit down and write an EP, and we had all these thoughts and rules of what it needed to be. Oops, sorry about that. So it felt like it came naturally because we weren't overthinking it. And we were also, when we were touring, we were playing Deus Ex Machina live. So we were seeing the reaction of what people, but they didn't even know the song. And they, we were like, it's coming. And they're like, when? Said, maybe in a few months. We
Good
don't know. We have a whole EP we haven't even really written yet. So for me, that gave it the ease. But
Yeah, I know that with the writing of the EP, there's a noticeable style change for us, which isn't that, it isn't super interesting because we pretty much change our sound every single. We're kind of like one of the most like eclectic bands you'll probably will meet. But that was having to do with going out and touring and playing this music and realizing that it leans a bit heavier live, and noticing that there was maybe a part of the audience that was wondering why the music sounds so heavy and so punk
aggressive and punk, live.
Yeah, and then trying to bring that into the music, and then us having like a ton of conversations about that, and if we were comfortable doing that, going a bit heavier, and trying to focus it. So I guess we had more conversations about what the sound might be, and we continue to have more conversations about what the sound will continue to evolve in. So yeah, I guess just a lot more communication on what we're going for this time around,
Yeah.
Makes sense. So for this question, I want each of you to pick your favorite lyric off the EP and tell us the meaning behind it.
Oh dear. I'll go first.
You can field this one. She's we're kind of like lyrics and music.
I'm lyrics first.
Yeah, even though
the riffs first.
All right. Nick, if you want to tell us your favorite like part off the EP, we'll take that in lieu of the lyric.
Yeah. You
Okay, I'll go. I don't know why. I have a bunch of little like nuggets of lyrics that I'm like, oh, I'm glad I wrote that or that. But I don't know why. I think I don't need to shatter that ego. You'll do it for me from Body Temple. Um, why that's my favorite, I don't know. I think if I could think of like the biggest diss I could ever tell somebody, and it's I don't even need to insult you not that I would want to, but as like a way of defense, I think I that song is the most to empower yourself by shedding your ego, but also being that example to somebody else. Like if you just keep going down this path, you're just gonna be your own enemy, and I'm not here to be your enemy. So that one, I think the face of it, it feels like a diss, but there is this like lesson behind it that is more of healing. So I think that one is very nuanced. And I do want to say my favorite part is the breakdown of Cult Classic, where it goes into that dun, 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 dun. That came after we had the song done. And he was like, I feel like we might need another breakdown. What do you think? And I was like, yes. And it's probably my favorite moment of the whole EP.
Yeah, that would probably work for me too. I think that part has that song has kind of a consistent vibe throughout, and you can tell we're having fun in that song, like having a breakdown that goes into another breakdown that goes into like hints at like this kind of really heavy metal solo in there, like an Iron Maiden harmonized guitar solo thing in there for like 2 seconds. To me sounds like we were having a good time, and luckily it's the title track.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah. So would you be able to tell us where your headspace is at while you're creating this record?
Our headspace. Well, I have a lot of intrusive thoughts. So, and I just vomit them out into our music lyrically. I think I'm always exploring, this growth, and it's always like, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And I really wanted to highlight that and showcase what I tend to feel like living in this society, and how I let my own confidence, wither away every day or whatever, and I just really wanted to empower myself while also questioning and challenging myself, and ask myself those questions like, why do I feel this way, or why am I comparing myself, and is it something deeper, or is it just because it's social media, etc. So I think my headspace is always in that constant state of trying to grow and develop, as not just an artist, but just a human,
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where I always live.
Yeah, I think we're trying to push ourselves to try some new things that maybe in the past we wouldn't have been comfortable trying, and sort of focusing on what's best for us, and maybe we're songwriters and producers, so we're aware of stuff that's going out in the world that's popular, and a lot of times that stuff influences what we're doing, but sometimes it's not always the best thing for what we need. And I think this EP shows that we're making some decisions for ourselves that are going to show where we're headed with the music, and it's for us.
Yeah, and like you mentioned earlier, bridges that gap of what we sound like live, because we love touring, and that's a big part of what we do, and we want to make sure that what you hear on our recorded album, you can get a sense of what that energy is going to feel like live when you see us.
Hell yeah. So how do you guys recommend your fans to listen to this EP for the first time? Should you do it in the car with friends, in the dark with headphones on? Is workout EP, party EP? What do you guys personally recommend?
That's a great question. I've never heard that type of question before.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm always about the car. I like to just drive fast.
Fair enough.
Or workout, I do think that there's some tempos on this EP that could just get your heart rate up, and like you said earlier, make you feel like a badass.
Yeah, probably the car, because I can imagine like for some groups it's maybe a more appropriate headphone listen, but this is obviously the louder you play it, the probably better it's gonna sound. So.
Yeah, just blast it and piss off all your neighbors.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, absolutely. So this one should be super, super quick. Off the top of your heads, I want you guys to describe this EP for new listeners in 3 words. No more, no less. 3 words each, 6 total.
Oh my gosh. Oh God. Roller coaster.
Hmm.
Nuanced emotion.
Ooh.
I don't know. I felt like there was like a gun to my head. I was like, oh god.
Listen, that's what we're aiming for. That kind
No,
of pressure.
roller coaster is one word. It's just
Yes.
a part word.
Yeah.
Yeah, roller coaster is one word.
Yeah.
One word.
What about you?
No, that will work for the both of us. Yeah.
Cop it out.
No, no, we don't
Mm-mm.
take cop outs on this one.
All right.
You've got
Nope.
this.
I guess.
Heavy.
Yeah.
You can phone a
Heavy.
friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Heavy. I'll take another word.
No way.
Exhilarating.
Exhilarating.
You can tell we just woke up, right?
Yeah. Rock. Yeah.
There you go.
Rock.
Good
There
job.
you go.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Heavy, exhilarating rock.
I love it.
Honestly, that probably will define, like, that'll make the listener be like, oh, okay, I have an idea of more than what I said.
Yeah. Yeah, but yours is like what, like the feeling that is kind of what you can expect going into it. You know,
Yeah,
two
you can
sides
tell
of the
our
same coin.
goals
Yeah,
very much.
hell yeah. So in that same train of thought, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want listeners to have while going through the EP?
Yeah, I just want to empowered. Like I want people to think and to feel, but also not be so overwrought with it and just enjoy. You know, I think that's why lyrically I always try to like not like cult classic. You know, it's fun. It's not meant to be like preachy, but music for me personally, my favorite songs make me think or make me feel something deeper than just like, oh, that was a cool song. So I hope that can inspire that for the listener, for us.
Yeah, agree.
Hell yeah.
Times
Hell
two.
Love it.
So, are you able to touch on any particularly challenging or standout moments from the creation of this EP, positive or negative?
Challenging or standout positive during making it? I don't know if it's positive or negative, but there's something I never did before where in the song Tension Release, we were recording that with Mark Jackson and Ian Scott. And I don't know what overcame me, but while I was tracking the vocals, I strained my neck. And this is like I do not recommend this. I'm not saying this is what singers should do. In fact, this is probably the worst thing a singer could do. But I think I really wanted to feel that tension and nobody told me to do it. So I was in a, not that I'm saying I felt pressured. This was my own choice. And I remember even Ian looked back and he's like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I don't know. But so if you listen to the verses, there's this strained feeling. And I was literally choking my neck to get that feeling out. So that is a standout moment because that's something I never did before. I don't know why I had that thought, but it felt like it's what needed to be done. So I think even if I sang that one live, I don't even know if I can really recreate the exact tone and the sound of what that recording was because of what I felt and how I conveyed that while recording it. So that's an interesting one.
That certainly is an interesting one.
Yeah.
So have you seen any like permanent effects from doing that? Do you feel like you've damaged your voice a little bit from that?
No, I mean, I definitely didn't do it to the point where it was dangerous or that I would pass out. I have no real experience of choking myself. So I think that fear of like, okay, don't go too far. Also, I was in a room of people watching me. So
Yeah.
I didn't,
Good.
it didn't get to that point. So no, it didn't damage anything, but I'm not recommending this. This was just something that I don't know. I just felt that's what it needed to be. And that sound when I listened to those two verses, only in those verses, because I think that first line I say, cutting off the circulation, I feel everything at once. I really wanted to feel that in that moment. And that really was the only way I thought I could do that. So, but yeah, no, I'm singing and talking just fine, I hope.
All right.
Good.
Yeah.
So for this question, I want you to picture you're on tour, you're at a gas station for a rest stop. What is your snack of choice?
Oh, you guys got great questions that I haven't heard.
Thank you.
Thank
Yours
you.
is a kombucha.
Yeah.
He loves kombucha. So,
Me too. I love it.
what's your favorite? Are you a better booch or?
Well, I like oh my God, I think it's like Harmony or something. I don't know. They have a lemon berry flavor. It's like the big glass jar one. I feel like they're everywhere.
Yeah,
That's my
yeah.
favorite brand, but lemon berry is my favorite flavor. It's fucking amazing. I love it.
That sounds like something you'd like.
Yeah. Yeah.
You also like ginger too.
Mm.
For me, sometimes I actually go to Lunchables. I regress to my childhood, and I will get those Lunchables and maybe a pickle, and smell up the van with that pickle or something.
Nice. All
Hell
right.
yeah. What's your go-to Lunchable though? That's the real question.
The turkey one, or sometimes I'll go buy the candy. So like the Reese's peanut butter cup always gets me too. So
Nice.
Hell yeah. All right. And on the topic of food, if the band was a dish, what dish would the band be and why?
oh my God, it would be like tapas because you'd get a little bit of everything. It would be like a little
Yeah.
hors d'oeuvres. You want a little rock, you want a little metal, you want a little hip hop, you want some pop. Enjoy. Oh, punk. Don't forget the punk. A little bit of
Yeah.
punk
Mm,
and
Got it
wash
all.
it down with kombucha.
All right.
Yum. Hell yeah.
And for the last couple questions, I'm going to shift completely away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So, if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Mac and cheese, something mezcal tequila.
All right.
Maybe tacos.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, probably tacos.
tacos and a hard kombucha.
Yeah.
All right. Nice.
With alcohol.
Hell yeah.
If I'm going out, give me some alcohol.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
Oh, you know what? Never Neverland. My favorite when I was a kid, my first favorite Disney film was Peter Pan, and I think I've developed a Peter Pan syndrome because of it. So Never Neverland. That's where I'm
Nice.
going. What about you?
Maybe Inception. I'd like to see the world kind of changing around me. That
Yeah.
sounds pretty cool.
That's a great one, actually. Yeah.
All right.
That's fair. Yeah.
I've known of asking the last question. Every single person that we've spoken to have said that it is the most important question. What's your favorite color?
Oh, definitely like a teal, but more on the green side than the blue.
Nice.
I guess red.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And black.
Yeah.
Like a lot of black.
Those colors go well together.
Yeah.
So, as I said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you guys would like to plug?
Yeah, Call Classic dropped November 10th, and we're really excited about it. Next year, we're going to do some more touring, so check out those dates once we announce them. And thank you for listening.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, thank you for silence, guys. It's been Kat and Nick from Holy Wars, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.